Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about some mistakes you should avoid doing in hardcore. When you log out, you should do this at a safe area, not on a road or in the open world where there might also spawn enemies. Or you might be as unlucky as this person and end up dying. When you go into a cave, you gotta make sure you have an emergency exit and also cooldowns in case something happens, for example hyper spawns. So the next time you go into a cave, just try to pay attention to all the dead player corpses, because there's going to be a lot. The main reason for this is because as you're killing an enemy, and the moment you kill it, there might also instantly respawn another one, or maybe even 2 or 3. This can happen whenever there's a lot of dead enemies and also a lot of players at the same time. So if you feel like you're about to get stuck, and there might also spawn enemies on top of you in a moment, then I would highly recommend you to use your Hearthstone. You should never turn your back against the targets, or they might end up dazing you. When you get dazed, your movement speed is also reduced by 50% for 4 seconds. This can be so deadly. So what I would recommend you to do instead is just to strafe around. By default, your strafing keys will be Q and E. These should instead be changed to A and D, as it allows you to do the movement a lot easier. So now when I press A and D, I'll either move to the left or to the right. So if you spam your A and D buttons, it will look like this. Next, you need to combine this together with pressing your jump button. But when you're jumping, then you don't want to press A, or it will look like this. That's not the move we're looking for. Instead, you should press your jump, and then either A or D at the same time. By doing this, you'll jump and also be moving a lot to the side. The reason why this is important to do is because you might get stunned or rooted. And when this happens mid-air, then you'll still be traveling in the direction. But to make the strafing even better, then we're sadly not done yet. What you need to do now is to also combine it together with your camera. So by holding down your right click at the same time as you're doing your strafing. This allows you not just to jump to the left or to the right, but also for example backwards at the same time. So you'll not be turning your back against the targets, you'll be moving with a fast speed, pretty much as fast as if you were just running, and you can also shoot at the same time. Super useful to get away or just to kite. There are so many different ways to make gold as you level up, and if you don't know what profession to choose, then I would highly recommend you to just pick up skinning. It's an easy way to make a lot of additional gold as you're just leveling up. And remember, at a fresh launch, there's going to be so many dead creatures that you can skin. Easy profit as you're just leveling. As you're leveling, you might also find a new weapon, but for some reason you can't equip it, probably because you didn't train the weapon skill. So when you're in the main cities, and if you have enough silver, then you should probably also look at the different weapon skills you can train. Some of them might be worth it, especially if you find a green weapon. What you would probably also like to know is that there's vendors all over Azeroth where you can purchase green weapons, so you don't need the auction house. These vendors I've covered in a complete guide that you can find in the description. There's also an add-on you can use to track all these NPCs, so when you open up your map, you can now see the different locations. And for those of you wondering about the name, well, then you can see it right here. Another important thing to do early on is to make sure you get yourself some bags. You can purchase these in the different main cities and other locations. Here you can purchase many different bags, for example a 6-slot bag for 5 silver. Having a bag early on is going to be important. In fact, having many bags will help you a lot, as you can carry a lot more things, so you don't have to throw away things to for example have enough inventory for a quest item. And though you're going to spend a couple of silver, then it's also going to be worth it in the end. One thing you should also make sure you're not doing is to be zoomed in closely. Try to zoom out as fast as possible so you can also see more. This can be done with a command or an add-on, for example Leatrix Plus, but the command that I use I'll just leave in the description below the video. So far you might have reduced your rain quality and also zoomed out further. What you should also do is to reduce some graphics settings. So instead of having the best possible graphics, you should try to reduce your environment details and ground clouder. Reducing these things also allow you to see way less grass and also don't have to pay attention to all the different objects. At least the objects at far distance will also be removed, but you can still see any creatures even though they're far away. I know some of you might just prefer to have the best possible graphics, but remember, if you would like to also make it to 60, then this change might also help you a lot. Just pay attention to what happens the moment I increase the graphics again. Now all of a sudden there will be a lot more objects and grass, and it's also a lot more difficult to track the different enemies. The next one is for those of you that plan to play as a hunter or a warlock, because you can easily wipe yourself or the whole group in a dungeon. Make sure never to have your pet on aggressive. I would highly recommend you just to remove this completely from your action bar, or at least unkeybind it. Instead, I just keep my pet on passive at any given time. So now I'll also need to order it to start attacking before it will do so. That way, you definitely increase your chance of surviving. And you can always just press your pet passive ability to get it back to your location. If you find it difficult to figure out where you need to go next, or what will be the best quest to do, then you might also enjoy a leveling guide. In my case, I just use Rested Experience, because this is free from level 1 to 20. This is mainly also because they have a hardcore mode you can enable. This will prevent you from doing the quest that you shouldn't. For example, different elite quests, or where there's a high chance that you could potentially also end up dying. What you need to do next is to choose the zone you would like to level in. In my case, it's going to be Elven Forest. But you can also choose any other starting zone, even as a human, then it will just guide you to the location. But before I start questing, then it also recommends me to upgrade my weapon if I have enough money. And to be honest, I had no clue it would be better to do this instead of using the current questing weapon I had. On top of this, it will also tell you the best time to use your Hearthstone and even when you should change it to another location. It also tells you the best quest to do at a certain time, so you don't accidentally spend 2 or 5 hours running in between different zones to do different things when you should probably just be at a certain location. So now you might also be wondering, what if you have already done some quest? Well, the add-on will also detect this automatically. So if I, for example, just did step 6, and I've already done step 7 or 8 earlier, then it automatically tracks this and takes me to step 9 instead. So the level 1 to 20 version will be free, and if you like it, you can always upgrade it so it works all the way up to 60. But before you upgrade it, then you can also get a discount by using my name, GuideMMO. But yeah, this is also what I had for you today. For more tips and tricks and other useful hardcore guides, make sure to check out the channel or subscribe to get notified the next time I post a new video. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!